Hi everyone, I'm Sreenivasan, host of PBS NewsHour Weekend, a correspondent for Amanpour & Company on PBS, and host of Take on Fake, a YouTube show helping people debunk misleading claims online. It's hard to believe the term fake news was dropped into mainstream consciousness only 4 years ago. That's when journalists and academics started using the term to describe the increasing number of fake news sites and stories containing completely false information. Since then, the term has been weaponized and used as a political tool against uncomfortable truths.
So-called fake news can have real-world consequences.
You are fake news.
Sir,
go ahead.
Can you state?
We actually avoid the term altogether because it means different things to different people. Now, in 2020, we're seeing more misinformation and disinformation than ever before. The effects are pulling at the fabric of our society, creating confusion, fear, and making it harder to seek out reliable information. With so much information flooding our lives, we don't have time to be manipulated. It's honestly exhausting. That's why I'm here with 3 college students who represent the MediaWise Voter Project, a program from the Poynter Institute that aims to teach digital literacy skills to first-time voters in the 2020 election.
See? This is why context is so important.
They're called MediaWise Campus Correspondents and represent diverse colleges and universities across America. They've been training their peers how to tell fact from fiction online in advance of the 2020 election, and are here now to talk about some of the concepts they've been teaching and to show us a few recent claims you might have seen online. First, we're here with Evan Jones at Michigan State University. So Evan, what are the biggest threats of misinformation out there right now?
So the short answer is that anything that draws a quick emotion is something that's a misinformation threat. So when I speak to other college students about this, I kind of group them into 3 areas. And the first would be memes and miscaptioned photos. And, sometimes memes are just jokes, right? And to point out any falsehoods would simply ruin the joke. Other times, memes just voice animosity. For example, this meme accuses Black Lives Matter protesters of defacing the Lincoln Memorial, but this defacing never occurred. Professional fact checkers at Snopes and factcheck.org both verified the image and found that it was photoshopped. So the second category of big threats is fake local news sites. So Nieman Lab, a journalism research institute out of Harvard, identified more than 400 hyper-partisan websites that are run by political operatives or political action committees that masquerade as local news organizations. These websites resonate with people not just because of their sleek design, but because they oftentimes don't have competition. Newspapers are closing at an alarming rate, and that leaves these hyper-partisan fake local news sites to fill in the void. Lastly, manipulated video. We're seeing more and more of this as election day gets closer. So these exist on a spectrum for how much deception they deploy. So they can be something as simple as you have a complete video, but it's out of context. It's missing surrounding videos, or you're looking at a video in isolation. On the far end of the spectrum, videos can be doctored or completely faked by artificial intelligence. We haven't seen as much of this as the previous examples in this election cycle, but the technology is only getting better. So it's important to be on the lookout for videos that are deceptively engineered.
We're now going to turn to Hannah Meow. Where are you joining us from today, Hannah?
Hi, Hari. I'm calling in from Durham, North Carolina.
Okay. Now, what are some of the questions that you should be asking yourself when you want to investigate a claim?
So there are 3 big questions you should ask yourself to help you evaluate something you're seeing online. And these questions were originally developed by the Stanford History Education Group. So the first question is, who is behind the information? When you're examining a post, we want to think about who posted it or who is making the claim. And what motivations might they have? What credentials do they have? Why should you listen to them?
So why is that important?
We all have our own biases, right? So being able to tell what someone's motivation is helps us give a little bit insight into why they might be spreading this claim and what they're hoping to get out of sharing it. So our second question from Sheg is, what is this person citing to back up their claim? Or in other words, what is the evidence? For example, if you see a claim about the coronavirus, Is the information coming from the World Health Organization or a verified research or academic institution? Or is it coming from a relative on Facebook who has no scientific credentials, right? There's different ways to assess the credentials of someone and what sources they're citing.
So you're talking about who is it and what are they citing? So those are two kind of big categories that should automatically make you wonder, is this possible? Is this credible? Is this true?
Yeah, definitely. And then once we have those two questions, we want to move on to the third question, which is, what do other sources say? So this means we should be opening up multiple tabs and checking in with other reputable sources.
Thanks so much, Hannah. Zuna Ramos, a sophomore at Boston University, has been employing a couple of additional fact-checking tools. Zuna, can you tell us a little bit about those?
Of course, Hari. Thank you for having me. So lateral reading and reverse image search are super useful to combat misinformation and disinformation. So lateral reading was created by the Stanford History Education Group, and it consists of opening multiple tabs in order to evaluate information that seems questionable. Let's say you read something on a website and you're doubtful about its reliability. You would take this piece of information, paste it on a new tab while keeping the original tab open. So always make sure to diversify your sources. This means to read and keep open a variety of websites in order to gain new perspectives as well as avoid bias. Reverse image search is one of my favorite tools. It can help you locate any picture you want on the internet. This is incredibly helpful when you're evaluating those viral images or any other picture that is shared with the purpose to spread disinformation. So there are two types of these images. There's doctored images and out of context images. Doctored images are those images that have been altered and are often referred to as photoshopped images. So they can show a person meeting another person they've never met or the person being somewhere they've never been. Out of context images, though, have never been altered, but they're often accompanied by an eye-catching caption that gives the picture a new meaning.
Okay, let's take a look at an example. Viewers, what do you think? You can chat your answer down below.
This is a campaign ad. We're first going to go to Google, and once you're there, we're going to go to Google Images. Once we're there, you're going to see this camera icon next to the mic, and you can either paste the image URL, the image that you're fact checking, or you can upload the image. I'm going to upload it since I had it saved previously. You're going to open it, and it'll start searching it. And now all the articles that appear are those on the internet that contain this picture. I'm going to go to the one by the Gazette, which I found earlier, because it's the source where the picture was originally taken. So if we read this article, we can see that the image has been altered because the image was originally taken at a watch party for the Holiday Bowl. So this is the original image where we can see others wearing Holiday Bowl shirts, while in the image that we saw previously, it makes it seem as if Biden was in his basement alone, which we can see here that he wasn't. And just like that, you completed your first reverse image search.
Thank you, Zuna. And I want to thank all of the MediaWise campus correspondents for sharing their expertise. It's not always easy to stop and think critically about every piece of information we consume, but the more we do it, the less likely we're going to get duped, and the more we can focus on the facts that do matter.